Hello, everyone. Fraser from the Stand Comedy Club podcast. This week we have I'm going to wrap this. MC Hammersmith. He is great. Enjoy.
Well, look, ooh-wee.
Time is 11:38 a.m. Welcome, Will,
To the podcast.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks, everybody.
AKA MC Hammersmith.
Yeah.
Just for anyone who didn't know.
Yeah, in case I didn't know. Yeah. Pleasure to be here. This is nice.
We almost had a live studio audience today.
Two people came, two just random women arrived just before we started recording, saying that they were here for a meeting that happened yesterday.
Which is a shame. I wish they'd made it yesterday.
They could have stayed. They could have laughed along and it would have been...
whooped and cheered.
Yeah. Oh, well, never mind.
How's your tour going? Your
Tour's going good, thanks, mate. I've done 5 dates so far. No, 7, because I did 2 here. And it starts again in earnest tomorrow in Aberdeen. Lucky me.
Woo!
Lucky me. But they've all been good. I was just saying to you just before we started recording, I notice the demographic I am seeming to attract tends to be 3 separate groups. It tends to be poshos with red trousers. It tends to be raj sort of hip-hop heads who are like blokes in their 40s who love rap music, and then like 15-year-old boys with blue hair and headphones. And I love them all equally, all the demographics. I love the internet nerds, love the poshos, I love the hip-hop heads, but it is a melting pot of different people.
Wow.
I'm sure
Man
there
for
are
all
many other
seasons.
comics who have the same problem.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have guessed your demographic would be, but I don't know if I would have guessed that.
Yeah, it's the danger of being posh. One of the only bad things, actually. The danger of being posh is you attract the poshos. The danger of doing hip-hop, you attract these sort of drunk men. And the danger of putting things on TikTok is the people who want to come to the gigs are too young to actually attend in venues like this.
Aww.
So then you do theatres and they come with their parents. You're like, this is... Here it's like a United gig because it's 18 plus and everyone's there for the same reason. Other places where it's like 14 plus, it is a mixed crowd. It's like proper guys who are raving with like parents and their literal children.
And do the parents do you ever notice that the parents are like not into it?
Yes. Yeah. All the time.
Nice.
All the time.
But surely what you do is so like sort of inclusive of the audience. Surely they would get on board.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
They're losers. Those parents are losers. If you're watching, you're a loser.
Yeah. You're losers.
All of our viewers, if you're watching, you're losers.
Yeah, losers with disposable income who can buy tickets to the gigs. So, yeah, thanks. Join the club. I have noticed the one demographic that never gets on board is old people. I mean, like 70s, 75, 80-year-olds. I did a gig once in Dumfries and Galloway. And
everyone's
it was,
old there.
Yeah. It was in Kirkcudbright. It was when it was an open spot. It was 80 people, which was also the average age. and when you guys up for some rap music? And which used to be my opener. Very funny, we can agree. You guys up for some hip hop? And then silence. This old woman just went, no. Right, well, this is going to be tough. Drop some bars. They hated every moment of it. Getting random words out of them was like blood out of a stone. And then at the end, I went, right, I'll do one more rap. This same woman at the front just went, oh no. Oh no. Yeah.
Did you still do the at the end of the first one? And you all thought I was going to be shit.
Oh my god!
You know what? I feel like I will deploy that line if I've earned it. And I have vaulted quite a low bar. But back then, I wasn't even vaulting the low bar. I was limboing under it disgracefully. Amazing to lower their expectations and then not even exceed them.
Oh no! Oh my god, that's so funny.
Have you been selling out all of your shows or just the ones at the stand?
I've been humbled by the sales of the tour, which has been wonderful.
Right.
Although I will say, if you know 300 people in Canterbury, that'd be sick. That'd be sick. I find
Canterbury's
that when
not even a real place.
Yeah, it seemed.
Is Canterbury? Is everyone old in Canterbury?
Is
That's
everyone?
Robin Hood stuff.
No, you're thinking of, first of all, Robin Hood also comes from a real place, Nottingham. But Chaucer, real guy, who wrote actual plays about real place, Canterbury. But the stories are made up.
Oh, the Canterbury Tales.
Yeah, but Canterbury, definitely real place.
That was a joke.
Yeah.
I definitely knew that Canterbury was real.
Cool, it's not Narnia.
My great grandma lived in Canterbury. I think she was the mayor. What? I think my great grandma was the mayor of Canterbury at one point.
That's so sick.
That could be a complete.
That sounds like a rap. Drop that beat! I thought my great grandma was the mayor of Canterbury. She was old and she had vocabulary. I spit a rhyme that be straight off the head, but we can't go now because she's fucking dead.
And you all thought I was going to be shit.
Is she dead?
Yeah.
Okay.
She died at 107 though. That's quite good.
Shitting hell,
That's
this was
brilliant.
amazing.
God, they probably gave her the key to the city. That's
Maybe
amazing.
that's what it was.
107, fair play. Yes, so the average age of people in Canterbury is 107, which is the problem.
Was your grandmother a rap fan?
No, she didn't eat onions because she thought they were foreign, Mark.
Well, she lived to 107, so
Wow.
maybe she's onto something.
Wow.
I can't agree. I
Your
think
grandma was
onions-
problematic. I'll be
Same,
the first to say.
I love onions.
I think onions might be like an MVP of food. I think that they're so important to flavor in all dishes.
I agree.
And like all across the world, name me a cuisine where onions don't feature.
Cereal.
As in, like, what?
What country is cereal from?
Can I piggyback?
Go for it.
Cereal, tea.
These aren't cuisines. I meant like the food of Italy. Onions very popular. The food of Mexico. Onions very popular.
Oh, right.
Oh,
I
a
see.
cuisine. Okay.
Yeah, what you said.
The food of Australia.
Ah,
Blooming
I've got
onions.
it.
Is that
Yogurt.
true? I thought that was American.
Yogurt.
Yogurt.
I'm too good for this
I
podcast.
don't think there's much onions going on in the North and South Pole.
Is there much of anything going on in the North and South Pole?
Yeah, fucking got you there, Fraser.
All right,
1-0.
sorry. I apologise. Onions are shit.
Those penguins and polar bears ain't munching onions. She fucking got you good, mate.
You can grow
I've
onions
thought of
in this
another
country.
cuisine. I've thought of another
Oh,
cuisine
shit.
which doesn't have onions. Carrots. There you go.
Yes.
Fucking 2-0. Suck it.
I've been shown and I've been too full. I will not open my mouth ever
That's why you
again.
don't mess with the big dogs.
Are onions one of those ones that were brought over to the UK from somewhere else? Or have we
Everything's
always
brought
had
to the
them?
UK from somewhere else. We stole everything from everywhere.
Not turnips.
That's a turn up for the book.
Hey!
This is good
They
stuff,
didn't like
man.
that.
This is
I
good stuff.
we enjoyed it. That's
Nice.
some gentle comedy that we can enjoy.
Yeah.
Lottie.
Yeah, that is good gear. That's fucking good stuff.
Do you know who'd love that? 80-years in Canterbury.
Oh!
You can have that one, Willie. You can have that one.
Thanks, mate. Oh, I'll be absolutely dishing that out when I have to go on to 6 people in a 300-seater in Canterbury. That's going to be
man.
sick. I've not checked my ticket sales.
Yeah, surely you've not
but
sold
I'm
no
guessing
tickets.
it's 6.
I saw that you. I did see you played a huge number of people very recently. Was that with Jason Mansford or?
I did a few supports for Manford, yeah. So I did, the first time he had me, it was in a small, like, brewery in near Carlisle doing some, like, his work in progresses, and he had tour supports for those as well. He would do 20, and then he'd say, now, I want to introduce my best friend in comedy. I've known him for years. He played saxophone at my wedding. Please welcome. And then he'd just read the name of whoever it was that day.
Saxophone
Please welcome
at my
MC
wedding.
Hammersmith. I will say he's a lovely guy, but
Yeah.
he would always make sure to, like, properly set the gig up properly
Sure.
for,
That's good, that's
for everyone.
nice.
Once
that
the
was
gigs got
huge.
bigger and bigger in the big theatres and the arenas, he stopped doing that,
Oh.
which I think is wise because he was basically being tour support for his own tour support.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
the job of the tour support to go out there first and warm them
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Fair.
yeah.
And so normally he'd at least be on the mic being like,
Introduce.
ladies and gentlemen, friends, please welcome my tour support, MC Hammersmith. And if they can hear the guy they've paid to see doing it, then it's fine. But I remember once, I think the biggest one was probably Newcastle Arena, Sheffield Arena.
I think that's when I saw a video. I saw a video of you doing it. It looked insane.
It was big,
Like
man. It was
thousands.
big. Say again?
How many thousands?
I think it was about 5,000, maybe
wow.
so. It was
Gigantosaurus.
mad. And I was like, all right, well, at least Jason's going to announce me on. But he had just done the one show the previous night, so we'd taken the train up. So it must have been Newcastle. And so he was having a nap or hadn't arrived or some, like, in fairness, absolutely reasonable excuse. So the tour manager just did it and just mumbled, please welcome to the stage, MC Hammersmith. So nobody
fuck.
knew there was a tour support. No one knows what's going on. So 5,000 people. Hello, everybody. Boo!
Oh no.
But you get them up to, I think, a reasonable level by the end. But
Yeah.
Great.
it
You
it
won
doesn't
them
not
over.
involve kicking and screaming to get them there.
Wow.
God. Who is it? Like, who was it that was... Kevin Bridges was on, and...
It was Ian Smith. that
yeah,
was the
so
point.
whoever was taking...
Beth.
Who was taking? Yeah, was asked to say, please welcome to the stage Kevin's tour support,
Right.
Ian Smith. But so, obviously, all of the crowd here
Kevin.
But she.
is welcome to the stage,
Stage, Kevin.
Kevin. Tour support. No, they were all like...
It was so funny because the way, like, I guess her cadence, she was like, please welcome to the stage Kevin Bridges' tour support,
Yeah,
Ian
yeah.
Smith. And literally the crowd was like, Kevin Bridges, oh! And you could hear
very
the
funny.
drop.
I don't know if you guys, I don't know how long you guys have been working at the stand. I feel like, Lottie, you've been here longest. Is that, How long have you been here?
My whole life.
Your whole life. Do you remember Jellybean Martinez?
Yeah,
what
so
he
mu-
used to do? God, it was funny.
Yeah.
When he was hosting a Red Raw, he used to go, and now, ladies and gentlemen, we've got one more surprise guest for you. A lot of celebrities like to drop in, and this would be after the headliner. He'd be like, please welcome Kevin Bridges. The whole place would erupt, and they'd go, I'm only joking. Can you fucking imagine? All right, bye. End of the night. That's good. Very funny.
He doesn't do anything anymore. I wish he...
Yeah, I think that's one of the 2 gags I remember him doing that really stick in my mind.
How does it feel like getting response from a room full of thousands of people? Like, can you like feel it when they...
Yeah, it's wild because like I don't get nervous before gigs, really. Like I think that's probably private school repression. But I never really get nervous. And then for the second gig I did in Newcastle Arena last year, one was for Manford, one was a big charity gig by complete coincidence. I was rapping with objects around the room and had a big camera sort of following me around so everyone could see.
That's what I saw.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I saw.
And I'm stood at the sides waiting to be introduced, but the crowd are lit up as I'm about to come on, so I'm in them and I can see like everyone around me, and I'm like, this is actually quite surreal. Like, it's sort of a primal sort of. Wow, I actually feel like scared because it's so many people,
and you can just see them all.
Yeah.
So did you start on the stage and then get
No,
off
started
the,
on
so
the,
off the
started in the stalls and then roamed around a
because
couple
that
of the
must
aisles.
be the bigger the venue, the harder it is to get from the stage to the audience.
This
surely.
was
like,
our
from here,
consideration.
it's like
This was very much our consideration. So yeah, started within the crowd, then just roamed around. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was great fun, but I think that's the last time I was scared before a gig.
Yeah,
It was like,
nice.
whoa, there's far too many people for this to be a natural human thing to do.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
I think you get used to comedy clubs and venues like this, 200, which is like, it's a bit weird, but it's not insane.
Yeah.
Whereas thousands and thousands of people in an arena, it's like the
Yeah.
Coliseum. It's fucking mental.
Wow.
And the energy of your set is so big that it's quite hard to, like, it's hard to follow. How could Jason? No offense, Jason, but how could
Jason
like stand
Manford, I
up?
don't know.
Just stand up in general because it's just, like usually just talking. Like you're like so punchy and.
Yeah, that's. I find that musical acts, especially the loud ones, are really hard to follow.
Yeah.
I think you need
Yeah.
to have an interval afterwards.
Yeah.
Just, I found that when I've had tour supports, and I've had brilliant tour supports in the past, but you have to put them on first, otherwise,
Yeah.
otherwise, it's me doing a rap, hyping them up, and then going, and now a person speaking,
Yeah,
which doesn't do them
totally.
any favors.
Yeah, totally, totally,
They've all been good enough to handle it in the past, obviously, but it is in the wrong hands. That could be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So obviously, people listening will hear that you have an accent from somewhere down south, but you've chosen to live in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Well, I wanted to be around people with the same accent. I'm from Hammersmith. I moved to Edinburgh in 2010 to study linguistics at Edinburgh Uni. Then I just stuck around because Edinburgh's great and London's full of assholes.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to say it. I'll be the first to say that crucial observation.
Yeah, no one's ever said that before.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable
Wait,
how much
London?
it tracks that you did linguistics.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Has
like,
it helped with your rap
No.
skills? Oh, no. Okay.
did linguistics and English language, and my thesis was in phonology, so it was in like sounds. So I know
Okay.
why words sound better when they rhyme, and
Oh,
the
cool.
sort
Yeah,
of
yeah.
spectrum of phonemes that make a rhyme sound better or weaker. But I don't think Tupac or Biggie ever had linguistics degrees, and they did fine with the old rhyming.
That's
So
They also
So-
both got shot, though.
that's true. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know.
I feel like it's very difficult to imagine I would get shot, given I'm so conflict avoidant.
Yeah.
It's very tough to have beef when I naturally genuflect and apologise instinctively.
There's always time.
Oh,
Tu-
good.
Don't say that.
If Tupac had just said sorry, it'd be fine.
Yes. I think if more people said sorry, fewer shootings would happen.
Yeah.
It's a very good point. I feel like Edinburgh's just it's a great city. I love it so much. It's great for the fringe. It's great for comedy year round. I mean, here in Glasgow is so commutable. It's an hour away.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much culture and comedy up here, and I feel like in London it's so cutthroat and difficult. And obviously a lot of industry exists down there, but that industry is more for sort of straight stand-ups who do
Sure.
stand-up comedy, who will then do written stuff to be on panel shows. And anytime I've done industry stuff, it's like, you don't write anything. You don't want to write a sitcom? Weird. Okay, never mind. I'm like, I don't. I
interesting,
want
yeah.
to do improv with raps and with my friends.
Yeah.
And that's my goal.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
it's quite a comfortable thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate London.
I thought you were going to say, I hate improv.
I hate
This
improv.
making up bullshit, jazz, musical comedy and improv. What a loser.
Well,
What a loser.
improv has such a stigma around it.
It does.
Yeah, massively.
Like people do hate improv.
Well, though,
Yeah.
to be fair, I've seen some improv at the Fringe. You know, it's quite often people that give you a free ticket on the street, and that's the only
Of
reason you
course.
go.
Yeah.
And it's like it can be good, obviously, but like I think we're like spoiled here with like the improv that comes to the stand is like really good.
Yeah.
Well, it has
And
to be
these
to sell
people-
200 tickets.
Well,
yeah.
And there's people who do improv where they've like learned how to do improv and they've not, you know, they're only doing what they've learned. They've not sort of expanded on it at all.
Yeah.
And it's very like what's the word?
Good.
Regimented? Oh.
No, like
Bad.
but only bad because they're sort of just doing what they've like
Oh,
seen
sorry,
other people
paint by
do.
numbers.
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Painting
I do
by
think the
numbers,
thing
right.
about improv is, I guess, that it's it's so easy access. Anyone can just do it. You don't have to write anything. You just turn up and just assume that you'll say something funny, but then it's
Yeah,
quite
which at the Fringe is the problem.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the Fringe is open access, which of course it should be. It does mean anyone can do anything,
Yeah.
and it does mean that you will find a lot of people getting their stage time and getting their reps,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
obviously is fine. But if you're expecting a good show, you will be disappointed.
Yeah.
It's the same as anything. There's bad stand-up, there's bad improv. It's just we have seen fewer examples in this country of
Yeah.
improv done really well.
Yeah.
You look
Yes,
at groups
that-
like, I mean, the two biggest groups in the UK are probably Ostentatious and Showstopper. And if you
Yeah.
want to see improv with real high production value, those are the troops I would send people to. It's like,
Yeah.
look at it done well by talented people, and
Yeah.
it looks like it's scripted. It's so good, which
Yeah.
is the highest compliment you can give it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like with improv, maybe you need to be better than just that. You need to know a bit. You
Yeah.
can't just. Not everyone can do improv.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's
Yeah.
not something that you need. It's not something you need to sit down and like think about before you do it.
Ideally not.
It's like a
Ideally-
muscle you need to
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
type
yeah.
thing,
Yeah,
rather
ideally
than,
the
like-
head will be empty.
So
Yeah.
you're part of a few like improv shows that we put on. So you're not every week, but you're a semi-regular of the Monday Night Improv show.
Oh, yeah,
a show
love that
that
gig.
we try and plug as much as possible because it's a great show.
An
It deserves-
example of great
it's
improv.
It
that I
genuinely
was
is
talking
fantastic.
about.
I know we work it out, but first Monday
It's
of the
honestly
month,
so good.
You should definitely come along, and it's a
We
great
have fun.
show.
We
Yeah.
have fun.
And that's an example of some really good improv. And then you've also got, I mean, you're part of a few other regular shows.
Spontaneous Potter.
You do as well. and
Yeah,
stuff.
so we do that every few months here. We
And
love that show.
spontaneous. What was the other one? you've
Sherlock's
done?
the other one
Sherlock.
we used to do. Yeah. Some very occasionally we bring that back, but the troupe started 10 years ago is how I sort of started putting improv shows at the Fringe. Started with a show called Spontaneous Sherlock, which is an improvised Sherlock Holmes show with a live band. And the Cumberbatch series was really big at the time.
Yes.
And we were leeching off that. And then after a few years, we just saw the numbers plateau and we went, okay, I think the Sherlock mania may have died out.
You just have to
And-
wait for another reboot, and then you'll be
Yeah,
back on.
that's
back
Well,
on top.
exactly. And
But Potter hasn't died down.
I like
Potter will never die.
at the time I was a Harry Potter tour guide in Edinburgh.
Oh,
So I
yeah,
was
okay,
making the
okay,
longer.
okay.
And was speaking to one of the owners, the previous owners of a comedy club in Edinburgh, and he was saying, you know, if you did a Harry Potter thing, there's a lot of money there if you were to do another improv show here. And I went, hang on, well. Saw galleons roll over.
Yeah.
And so the next week we sort of did Spontaneous Potter, and we realized, of course, it's the most popular IP in the world amongst
Yeah.
every demographic. I think the 4 literary demographics people split up into is kids, young adult fiction, like adult fiction, and mature senior fiction, whatever it's called. And it's equally popular across all
Across all,
demographics.
yeah.
And the J.K. Rowling effect doesn't seem to have
Yeah,
dampened
no.
that,
Sure.
even though, you know, we're a trans inclusive, lots of queer people in the cast and team, and, you know, we give 10% of our profits to a trans charity, all this. I always feel the need to caveat
no,
no,
it
it's
with
good, you
that.
need to,
And
yeah.
also, it's not an official Harry Potter show.
Yeah.
No.
It's Spontaneous Potter, the unofficial improvised parody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it works so well because like everybody like there's so much recognition with like all the characters and the places and stuff in Harry Potter. There's so much material to make like something completely different every night.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
you just step on and you go, Mr. Potter.
Yeah, and it's like,
everyone knows who you are, where you are, what's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
And also, it's magic, so anything can happen.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're allowed to do anything. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
We also have Stu Murphy in the cast, and Stu obviously
Stu.
has never read the books or
It's
seen
so
the films.
good. It's so funny. The fact that he has never seen it is like that is like the cherry on top of the whole show, I think.
Yeah. And,
But he must know more about Harry Potter now than he ever did. Like,
he has picked up some of the basics by osmosis.
Yeah.
So like he knows like Harry, Ron, Hermione. He knows the 4 Hogwarts houses. He knows Dumbledore
Yeah.
is an old senile man.
Yeah.
Every time he plays Dumbledore, he somehow weaves in the fact that Dumbledore fought in Vietnam, but it was always for the Vietnamese against the Americans. So we always flash back to a horrifying sort of napalm strike.
so good.
Stu is so funny.
Yeah. We did Spontaneous Potter in Newcastle recently, and the title was Harry Potter and the Events of 9/11. And I'm always very like sort of woke minded, and I'm very like I'm nervous of upsetting people.
Sure.
And so I was like, right, I've got this. Don't you worry, boys. Walked on, and as Voldemort was like, set the show in the Greg's in Newcastle Station, and I went, I'm running a Greg's training course, and I've invited 8 Death Eaters, including myself, and we're all going to learn how to raise bread. We will be the 9 who leaven, and then but it did take place in September 2001, and then and then obviously September the 1st is the first day of term. So at the very end, everything wrapped up perfectly, and I went, we flash forward to 2 weeks later in Dumbledore's office, and I'm like, Harry, it really feels like everything's gone well. And Stu, as Harry, just was looking at a TV and just goes, never mind that. Have you seen what's happened in New York? Blackout, which was good fun. I'm always the one in the troupe, I think it's diplomatic to say, that will try and steer things, if we have a really spicy title like that, into a more wholesome, like, spin
the
it or a
moral
pun.
compass.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did years ago. We did Sherlock Holmes and the dildo of death or something, and so the dildo was a female deer covered in herbs. A dildo.
Oh my god.
That's good.
Yeah. But
That's
then
good.
obviously, if it's Harry Potter and the events of 9/11, you have to at least wink at it. You have to at least pay tribute to tick the box of expectation.
yeah.
I thought Stu Murphy always does that immediately.
course.
Though if he had his way, he would be playing Al-Qaeda to the fifth Hogwarts house, which I think is tough over an hour and 45 minutes.
I think there's something good. The fact that he hasn't seen it or read the books means that anyone in the audience who also is unfamiliar, for whatever reason, with Harry Potter, it means that he's like the one who doesn't get
The
it either.
window.
He is the audience surrogate.
And so it's like, it's good.
He is, and I hate to stereotype, the boyfriend who's been dragged along.
Exactly.
If I know anything about our demographic.
Exactly.
Stu Murphy, the boyfriend who's been dragged along is such a good Fringe title.
I've also been doing Shamilton and Baby Wants Candy during during the Edinburgh Fringe, and did it on tour. So this will be my 4th year coming out with them, and that's great fun as well because they're all American. Baby Wants Candy is an improvised musical. It's been going for like 20 or 30 years, the troupe in LA, Chicago, New York, and Shamilton is an improvised hip-hop musical inspired by Hamilton, obviously. And yeah, it's great fun to do as well, especially when you get a British suggestion, because I'm the only British one in the cast normally. And so we got Larry the Downing Street cat as the person to do an improvised hip-hop musical about. And they went, wait, what? What's Downing Street? I'm like, oh boy,
God.
you guys didn't read the briefing document about British pop culture on the plane over, I see.
Man.
And so having to explain who Jacob Rees-Mogg is, having to explain like Neil Kinnock, having to explain like all these things people are shouting out and trying to weave in. Very fun. Yeah.
Did you know that there's a Harry Potter fan fiction called Harry Potter and the Tumbling Towers about 9/11?
Are you serious?
I swear on my life. Should I get
I
it
suppose
up?
there's fanfiction of
That's
everything.
good stuff. That's good gear.
No.
Wait, Harry Potter.
No, read the whole thing out.
Yeah, all 1,000.
I just get my
notes.
notes app.
Authored by me. I wonder what that could possibly be about.
It is.
Is it like the wizards are trying to save it, but the Al
Surely
Qaeda,
the
like the
Wizards
Death
could have
Eaters or
stopped
something?
it.
That they
I know, like-
could have stopped it, but chose not to. If the canon of Harry Potter is they don't get involved in Muggle events,
yeah, it's Muggles,
we have
innit?
to accept
Just
that
to watch it.
9/11 could have been prevented by magical people, but they chose not to intervene.
They're monsters, really. aren't they?
Yeah.
I do quite enjoy. There's like a sort of the trend on TikTok of people doing that bit of
Yeah,
the
that is that's
like the
really
bit
good.
like Harry, you can't, and like it's like
No, you can't. There must be another way.
not me, not Hermione, you. Like it's so good. It's
My
like,
favourite bit is, look, do you want to stop the pain or not? That's what Harry says to Ron.
He says what?
He's like, do you want to stop Snape or not? Do you want to stop Snape from getting this stone or not?
I just love. Well,
Take the lot.
Oh yeah, when he's like, and he takes all the sweets off the carrot, just like, what
Cunt.
about all the other children on this like train? You've stolen all the sweets.
Yeah.
Harry is a cunt.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll go.
He's
with
a main
that.
character, but he's not a good guy.
Yeah,
That's true.
I'll say it. Tory arseholes.
Exactly.
First to say it.
Yeah, do you think, so what, you're a posh guy.
Hello. Hello. How did you tell?
Does that mean, does that mean you eat posh crisps?
Yeah. This is why I come on this podcast, by the way. It's for the insightful, personal. Chris, by the way, my favorite cuisine that doesn't involve onion.
Yeah.
Cheese and onion, you piece of shit.
Wow.
3-1.
Wow. I got phrased. I can't believe it. That's me absolutely slam dunked. I was right into that.
Sorry.
Stupid
I
name.
just needed to ask if you ate Posh Crisp.
Yeah.
Do you have a
Love
favourite-
a
what's your
kettle
favourite
chip.
crisp?
Love a
Kettle chip, yeah.
Love a kettle chip.
Do you not think they're a bit too crunchy and cut your mouth a bit?
No, I
Sometimes.
eat carefully. I don't just shovel them in and gum them. I use
I,
my
we're
teeth.
not the same.
I just shovel.
I
feel
shovel and
like-
gum.
How do you feel about crisps that aren't potatoes?
Sweet potato sort of
The
parsnip
vegetable
crisps.
chips.
Yeah, those can get to fuck.
Yeah.
But they
Not
feel
for me.
quite middle class though. So there you go. I guess you know.
Lots of things feel middle class that I don't like. Green olives. The olives are quite middle class.
yes,
Don't
I
like
like-
green
you
olives.
like
Do you like
black
black olives?
Black olives, yes, because it's 2025. you can't cancel me like that. Okay,
We'll get 'em.
I don't like. I don't
you'll
like
fucking
green
get me.
olives.
I'll get phrased again. I'll get slam dunked. Just you wait. Green olives, like lots of things that seem middle class, but rather I don't.
Caviar.
Caviar. You know what? Did a gig on a cruise ship once, and I've spoken about this on another podcast, but it was a cruise ship for millionaires, and
wow.
24/7, 365, I could order anything I wanted. The gigs, as we were speaking about earlier, old people hate me. The gigs
Oh,
were
of course.
diabolically
Yes.
bad.
Sure.
But on one day, they went, okay, it's your last day, anything you want, just have it. I went, it is and I couldn't order the caviar. I just felt too Tory. And they went, we've got some foie gras that somebody else like ordered but now doesn't want. So because we're going to throw it away, do you want some foie gras? And I went, I am against the force feeding of geese personally, but if it is going to be thrown away,
Yes.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you're
go
paid.
on. I tell you what, nicest thing I've ever eaten.
Really?
Fuck me, I can
Really?
see why they do it. It's
Whoa.
fucking, it's like meaty, buttery, like so rich. Oh, it's one of the nicest things I've ever put in my
Is
mouth.
it their
Wow.
liver? Is it goose liver?
Yeah.
Fed.
When I
Yeah,
was at
fat.
college a very, very long time ago, one of my lecturers, Shug, used to, when he was trying to get us to pass exams, he would say, I'm going to stick this funnel down your throat and feed you information like foie gras geese.
Jesus Christ!
I
Did
tell
it
you what,
work?
I passed, and my liver is delicious.
That's classic Shug.
Classic
That's Shug to a
Shug.
T.
What's he like?
I don't
How
like
long
that.
was the cruise? How long were
It
you
was
on it?
only 8 days, and it was between like Denmark and Germany, so nowhere particularly
Okay.
exciting or exotic.
Presumably the fee was all right.
The fee was all right.
Phil
They
Millionaires.
actually said, do you want to do the Caribbean? I went, obviously, and then it clashed with the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. That's fine. I'll do Denmark instead. I'm a man of the people.
Yeah.
The Danish
nice.
people.
Denmark's nice. Went to Germany, saw Bremen. It was nice.
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 Yeah. Nothing else happened. The gigs were bad. I stayed
Did you
in my
have to do
cabin.
a gig every night? Or?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I did one gig for the crew, and that was amazing because they're normal people,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
not billionaires. But yeah, the actual gig for the clientele was just abysmal because they don't like hip hop. They don't know. Or
No, they don't
understand
have.
rap
They don't have
music.
a
Yeah.
They don't like
reference for it.
swearing. They're too demure, so they just shut down. Which I get it. I've come into
Yeah.
their house and be like, "What's up, motherfuckers? Shout out some words. Let's make this a rave." They're like, "This couldn't be further from the night we
Yeah.
wanted," and we're stuck on the ship and have to watch you. So
Yeah.
Do you do many gigs in non-English speaking countries, like where it's not the first language? And how does that go if you're not like, because it's quite wordy what you do?
I've done quite a few gigs in Europe, yeah.
Yeah.
And done a few improv festivals abroad. I've done Switzerland 3 or 4 times now, and I tell you what, do you know what Swiss people don't do? Laugh.
Oh,
They,
Oh, yeah.
because they're so, especially in Zurich, Swiss Germans. My tour guide in Zurich was saying when I took a walking tour, he went, you know, the thing about Swiss Germans, we are very reserved, and you may notice it is a Saturday afternoon. We are in the center of town, and no one speaks loudly. And I went, you're right. There's hundreds of people milling around here, and it is deathly quiet. It's really surreal. So they watch the comedy like this.
And even if they're enjoying it.
Yeah, and they'll smile, and you're like, and on stage you're like, I'm dying a horrible death up here.
wow.
And then they will come up to you and they'll be like, that is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like, could have told your fucking face. Like, it's silence forms the whole thing. It's because it is rude in their culture to make
a big
Wow.
noise.
Yeah, and so obviously in comedy shows, if they have not seen comedy before, which I don't imagine there's a huge Swiss-German stand-up comedy scene, you can imagine it for a lot of them, it's their first time seeing it. So they don't know what the crack is.
Damn, that is hard. But then, is there like Swiss German? Because surely that's the case in any performance. There, like, I suppose maybe it makes more sense for like a gig for people to just be paying attention and not making any noise,
Yeah,
but-
I think they treat it like a theatre,
Yeah,
even though it's
okay,
low
yeah.
ceiling, it's in an actual comedy club.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
it's like warming up. But I honestly think Glasgow is the best place to gig if you want vocal people. Glasgow and Liverpool probably, like
Yeah.
because everyone here is kind of from the same place a lot of the time.
Yes.
Obviously, there is diversity and people are from other places. But if you say who here's from Glasgow in this room, as you guys know, it is always over half the room.
Yeah.
And so they feel very united as a crowd. And when they feel united, they feel relaxed and they feel comfortable to laugh all together.
Yeah.
And it's not like Glaswegians are known for their reservedness. And if you're shit, they will tell you how they feel. So I always feel like here is a barometer of success. If you do badly, you'll do diabolically badly. But if you do good, you'll do amazingly. So it's a real intensifier of how you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's when I first started. And you can imagine me as an open spot in Glasgow, dressing the way I dress, sounding the way I dress, and not being funny. Going, hello, I'm going to do a rap. You can imagine when I didn't have the goods and was first trying to actually learn punchlines. You can imagine the sort of reaction I would get doing working men's clubs in Paisley.
Oh, wow.
It's just brutal. But slowly but surely you learn like to deal with it. You develop a thick skin.
Did you ever do Red Raw?
Oh yeah.
But did you do it here and Edinburgh?
Yeah.
And
But I
Newcastle.
had, obviously the waiting list for Red Raw was so long. I'd been gigging as MC Hammersmith for a year doing open mics
Right.
before I did my first 5 here. So I pretty much got that random objects routine down pretty well to get like a few punchlines out. So I was confident I can get away with this, and some parts of it will sometimes be funny. That's sort of the level I was at. It wasn't to the level I'm at now, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd hope I hadn't got worse over time,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
But yeah, did and also had been doing improv for 10 years before that.
Right,
So
right.
was very comfortable on stage, and also had that very middle class private school I'm good at this. The world owes me this. This delusion. This like no, this will be good. And even when it wasn't, at least for that first 10 seconds on stage, at least having that confidence buys you a little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
But
I do
obviously
think-
you have to be funny, which when I began, I absolutely wasn't.
I do think if you give the audience, not as a performer, I mean like having watched people doing Red Raw, if you give the audience any, even like a tiny chink of opportunity to not trust you on stage, they just, it's like very hard to build it back. So if you come out confident, that's like one of the most important things I'd say.
Scott and I were having a chat the other day, and he says there's a difference between some acts where if you come on and you're owning the stage, like you're meant to be there. Some people own the stage and some people like borrow the stage. And if you feel like you're you can tell where people feel like, if it's all right with you, I'm going to just do this. And then he said that to me, very wise. And I've never, like, since he said that, every single person, I'm like, are you owning the stage or are you borrowing the stage?
Yeah, I do find that when people own the stage, they're like, this is my house, take your shoes off.
Totally.
And I figured out, if I get a suggestion that is too spicy, if it is like, if it's racist, if it's like, if it's of the Jimmy Savile variety, because when you ask for suggestions on a Saturday night in any city in the UK, people will just shout famous nonsense at you.
Why do people
So
love that
many.
so
I think
much?
men just, without a personality, think it's funny.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's it.
It is
And they're
wild.
trying to impress their girlfriends or their lad mates.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, I think, what it is.
Yeah.
And so I don't take those suggestions because A, it's quite dull, and B, it's been done before a million times over. And so I find that when I started, I would feel this improv sort of purism to be like, I must take it. And obviously it would never be funny because it's inherently like, grosses the room out. And then I think you realize, no, I'm in charge. I own the stage. This is my house. Take your shoes off. And now there are fun ways of rejecting it without seeming like you're losing control. If you reject it in a fun way, then your status raises, their status lowers. If you reject it in an unfun way, weirdly, they are more high status and you seem like you care and you're ruining the gig. And then you're definitely on borrowed stage time. Yeah.
Is it hard to, because your act is like reliant on suggestions and like improv and stuff. How do you get heckles?
Yeah.
But like, how does that work? Because
I mean, I did Rotunda not too long ago. I think maybe just before the pandemic. And before it even got to the mic, somebody shouted briefcase wanker.
I'm sorry about that, Will. It was
That's fine. That's fine. That's playful.
it was an open goal. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I get it. And my real name's Will. So,
and in their defense, you were carrying a briefcase.
And in fairness, I did carry a briefcase to private school, and I have no mates. I think that's fine.
And do you find that, because I think we said on a previous podcast that specifically in Glasgow, acts that are English, as soon as they open their mouth, the crowd does kind of freeze over a bit.
But I love that. I
Yeah.
love that because it
It's like a
lowers the bar.
challenge.
Yeah,
I think if it's
okay.
my own crowd, my own solo shows, they know who I am, and that's fine. But if it's a mixed bill and they don't know me, if I go, hello, what's up, motherfuckers,
Yeah.
some of them do tense up and the bar does become significantly lower,
Yeah.
which then it's such a low bar to vault over.
Yeah.
I call it the Susan Boyle effect, which is like
Nice.
you really think this person is not going to deliver because you really think, I hate this person. He's English and he says he's going to rap. And similarly, when Susan Boyle went on to Britain's Got Talent, she was like, I'm going to sing. And she looked the way she looked, and she was the opposite to the stereotype
Yeah.
of the sort of glamorous singers that come onto that show. So
Yeah.
because the bar is lowered, you only have to do an adequate job
Yeah.
to be amazing, especially in Glasgow. And,
Right.
yeah. And obviously, she's brilliant at what she does. And like I think it's fair to say, and I think it's diplomatic to say, she would not have got the reaction that she got if she didn't look who she is.
Yeah,
herself.
yeah,
that's true.
I
And,
think so too.
I find it's the same thing. I mean, I dress like this most of the time, and I like sometimes I'll wear a waistcoat and a suit and a tie on stage, and that's sort of my normal dress anyway, like to be formal. And so yeah, if I'm just myself, I
Yeah.
find the bar's so low, it's quite easy to
Yeah.
step over.
You're the
I also-
Susan Boyle of improv rap.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm putting that on the poster. The Susan Boyle of improv rap. Bang. Can't wait. Next Fringe is going to be sick.
I also think that like you make reference, like you understand how you come across, and you like reference
you.
that when you're on stage. Some people would come out and just be like, if they're like an English comedian who's just a stand-up who has done most of their work in England,
Yeah.
they don't reference or like acknowledge anything about the way that they're coming across to the crowd.
Yeah.
And I think that's what leads it to be a harder job for them.
Yeah.
Whereas you're like immediately like,
Thanks.
I know.
I think it's easy to know who I am because I read my TikTok comments.
Oh, really?
I know how I come across. I'm like, I'm an awkward nerd who looks like Louis Theroux. No. I never knew that. Oh, this is devastating new information.
What was your route into rap? I mean, just given like you're very open about your background and you're very like, it's not an obvious thing for you to get so into hip hop.
Yeah, I guess I loved it when I was a kid. Loved Akala, loved drum and bass, and then got into Eminem when I was like 12, as every white boy in my school did. Sure, like obviously. And then when I came to uni, got into people like Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, just golden age rappers, and I loved the rhyme scheme, loved the wordplay. Got into battle rap and went, oh my god, the gags in this are incredible. The punchlines these people are swinging at each other are amazing. And then saw videos of MC Supernatural and MC Juice freestyling in about 2014. Saw Wayne Brady do it on Sway in the Morning as well. And I went, hang on, but he's an improviser. And I went, hang on, but he's incredible at freestyle rapping. I went, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Improvised rap and freestyle rap are the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just rappers that do it are significantly cooler and better. And so watched videos of them doing it. And back then there was no tutorials online. Harry Mack wasn't a thing. I mean, he's
Harry
obviously
Mack,
like
yeah.
the biggest and like best and like, he's by far the most popular freestyler on the face of the planet now. And he's put some tutorials up since. But back when I was trying to learn in 2014, there was no tutorials or how-to YouTube videos. You just had to try and figure out how they were doing it. And after consuming enough hours of MC Supernatural, I went, he's putting the rhyme before the punchline and setting it up. So he has to learn thousands of words that rhyme with each other. Well, I guess I'll do that.
Whoa,
so
that's
still have a
mad.
rhyme book on my phone, have it here, and like still add to it every
Yeah, did you just
week.
like update it when you realize?
Yeah, and I have
rhyme?
like a whiteboard in the like box room in my flat. I've turned into a studio, and I put the words of the week, words of the month on there, and I just look at them and sort of passively absorb them and stuff. And yeah, it works. So this is my rhyme book. It's like, I don't know how long it is, 20,000 words long maybe. I've learned most of it, but like,
Do you just like go through it and like read it over and over again?
So recently, like now it's phrases like accolade, barricade, flash grenade, marinade, masquerade. No remorse, vocal cords, Trojan horse, broken swords, stuff like that. Because I always thought like, what's the fucking point of learning this? When is this ever going to come up? But I did an open spot at the Comedy Store years ago and was rapping with people's objects, and someone held up their ID, and I had just learned that passport rhymes with Star Wars, rhymes with cart door, rhymes with parkour, rhymes with darts board, rhymes with cardboard. I went, when is that ever going to come up? And I was actually quite self-defeated. Just went, what's the fucking point of this? So I'd learned passport rhymes with Star Wars. I held up his ID, his passport, and his name was George Lucas.
Oh my God.
I'm like, passport, Star Wars. I just learned that the other day. Oh my God. And since then, I've always thought, okay, you can't learn enough.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. So I'm constantly trying to learn and better myself. And also the thing is, like, if you learn those phrases, the syllables and the morphemes that make up those words, you will form those synapses in your head.
It just is easier. It sort of happens more naturally.
So if you learn the 4 or 5 syllable phrases, you will learn the structures that underpin it, and it then happens naturally. It's wild.
Whoa.
I really hope the next gig, the front row, is some ancient Greek warrior eating ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Trojan horse, cart door.
Now, Fraser.
Hang on, cart door rhyme with Star Wars. I'm shit at this.
Now, Fraser, those didn't rhyme. 4-1.
Shit, he's damn bloody right. I just heard lots of words and I go
excited. That's my life. That's my life. I heard words. I got an erection.
That's your fringe for 2 years from now. Wow.
Yes. Verbal boner. That's what I'll call it.
That's good.
That's good.
I want to fuck words.
That's less good.
Do you like have like a routine of like you do a certain amount of work every day learning stuff, or is it like
I count a gig as a practice, admittedly.
Okay,
so I'll always record it and listen back.
yeah,
but
okay.
if I'm not gigging, I'll try and do 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. And I drive most days to gigs or wherever, so I'll just stick a beat on, wrap up the things I see, try and now what I'm trying to do is give myself like a 5-minute beat and 1 word, and just try and think, okay, before I start the freestyle, can I lay out a rhyming buffet of like some of the punchlines I might do. So if the word is, give me a word, any word.
Spaghetti.
If the word's spaghetti, I'll think, all right, so what do I associate with spaghetti? So I associate bolognese, carbonara, linguine, lasagna. So maybe one of the punchlines I do is, I've got rhymes in layers, like a lasagna. Maybe my rhymes are delicious, like bolognese. Maybe I'll stretch you out, like linguine. Maybe I'm creamy white, like carbonara. And I'll just say that out loud. I liked the Harry Potter 9/11 chat.
I'm a simple gal.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know why the reason you don't like those? All of those foods, those cuisines involve onion. That's
Delicious.
And so then I'll go,
quick
all right,
with
if
it.
those are the punchlines, can I put those on lines 4, 8, 12, and 16, where like the punchlines tend to go in hip hop? And then I will try and just freestyle, vaguely remember the things I have to do, and see if I can space those out over 5 minutes, and try and figure out what the strongest one is, and try and end that 5 minutes in. And that sort of mimics what I do here. It's like if I'm speaking to a person, interviewing them, I'm like, all right, what's the funniest thing from this interview? The shiniest thing? I absolutely have to put that last in the freestyle, because things have to get funnier over time rather than less funny. So I'll try and lock that in and not burn through it until the end. And everything else is just, I'll figure that out on the fly. So all I'm thinking after I've interviewed someone and go into the rap is, what was the shiniest thing? Save that till last. Everything else I just do in the moment.
That's so cool.
And if I can hold one thing in my head, which is possible,
Yeah.
if I can hold one, like, don't burn through it, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. And if I can do that last, then it always, most of the time it goes well and seems to heighten like a scripted rap would do.
That is very impressive.
Thanks.
and presumably you enjoy doing it, because otherwise you wouldn't
Hate
be
this
doing
shit.
it.
Hate this shit.
Like, I mean, like learning words, learning rhymes, all that sort of stuff. Like,
huge nerd for it. Love hip hop.
yeah.
Love the art of freestyle.
Yeah.
I just find it so much more fun than standing on stage with a thing I've written and going, "Here's my thing." I'm watching a film in my head. I find that it brings the room together.
definitely, yeah.
And also, like, I'm not very good at the written stuff anyway, so it is partly because I enjoy it, partly because I have no other transferable skills.
Have you ever had a crack at just straightforward stand-up? You ever thought about doing it, or kind of thought that maybe give it a go, or it's just not something that appeals to you at all?
I think I signed up for an open mic a couple of years ago in Edinburgh and just went, I have nothing. I'll tell a story from when I used to be a science communicator, because that was my job at 23 out of uni, was for working for the Edinburgh Science Festival.
Oh,
I went,
nice.
They've got a couple of funny anecdotes about that. I wonder what happens if I just stand on stage and don't have the safety net of rapping. It turns out I don't like it. And I went off stage and realized, oh yeah, you can't just tell a story that's funny. You need stand up. You need to polish every bead. You need to be able to gag. And there's so much more under the hood than I think I appreciated until I went, I'll just go up and see if I can be funny.
Yeah.
It turns out not as easy as that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that.
What's wild about that is that I think that, so I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I guess there's a sort of, doing that must have given you some level of like, maybe you already knew it, but a different appreciation of what a traditional stand-up is doing.
Yeah.
But I reckon every single one of them looks at you and goes, no way.
Yeah,
Like, you not do what you, like the idea of walking on stage with
Yeah.
nothing and just I know I can do
But
this.
he's
It's wild.
not
I know
coming
you got-
on with nothing
I know you
because
don't
there's
have
there's
nothing,
like more
Yeah.
than
Of course.
There's
Actually, it's
like
true. You've
a
got
whole
a million written
encyclopedia.
shows on
Yeah,
at any one
yeah.
time.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think so. I think it definitely humbled me and made me go, oh, I definitely respect the art of stand-up, like even more now. Going, oh right, they make it look effortless by going, here's a story from my life. But I mean, it's such a route one observation to go, whoa, they really think about what they're saying.
Yeah.
But so many of my comedy colleagues look so effortless when they're doing it. I'm like, is this just Raymond Mearns' personality? Is he just freewheeling all of this? Which, in fairness, he might be the exception.
I was going to say, you
that
might have
proves
picked the wrong person.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Wow.
Good.
So, two different questions. So, who would you say are your heroes in comedy, and who are your heroes in rap? Like, if you could combine the two and be who's the perfect person? Like, if you take,
in improv, like, it is improvisers like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. Honestly,
Sure.
I mean, I know they're like household names. I have a lot
there's
of
a reason
For
they're
a
household
reason,
names.
yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I have lots of improv heroes who nobody would know. That my teachers in Chicago and in New York, where I trained, like they're just looking up to them, like, and seeing like the top narrative improvisers in the world, like people like Patty Stiles, Steve Waltine, these people who like are able to be in a narrative improv show and combine everything effortlessly, come on with such strong, identifiable character choices, and yet have fun, heightened game, be emotional, and make everything a 3D proper narrative long form show. Those are the improvisers I look up to. The rappers I look up to are people like, I mean, my number one of all time is Big L. He's a 90s rapper from Harlem. He just has punchline after punchline after punchline. And if I combine the two, it would probably be the aforementioned MC Supernatural and MC Juice. They're the grandfathers of freestyle rap. And like, Supernatural, I don't know if he invented the objects routine. He certainly popularized it. It was one of the first to do it on film, as far as I can work out from YouTube. I think his story, I think I saw him say once, like, he could either sell drugs or he could go to Central Park and he could bring his boombox and rap with objects.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so he chose the latter, and now it's his signature routine. It's like the thing that made him famous, and it's amazing to see what they do. They had a battle in 2003, I want to say 2002, and that's when battle rap used to be improvised and on beat. Now battle rap is 99% scripted and is a cappella. But seeing it done on beat, improvised, and they're referring to tearing each other's posters down, and they're making the eye contact and how they're moving around the stage, it's wild to see. So I think I know every word of that battle. Studied it again and again when I was learning.
Speaking of object rap,
Well, is it that
That
time?
was a
I
good
think it's that
segue.
time.
It may be time. We've talked a lot about your skills at the picking out things from the audience. We're gonna
Let's just
we're
get
gonna do it
evidence
to you.
it.
We're gonna do it to you right now.
Sick.
I could go off and get them and just hand them over. Like,
So one of us needs to we have a
Microphone.
bunch of items, so we have to hand them over to Will, and then we also need to get the beat to play as well.
Okay, sick. Maybe we
We have a
cut
pause.
here and then we cut back to the objects being just out my field of vision with the beat playing. How about that? Sick.
Would you like to explain
Yes,
what's
I'll
happening?
explain what's happening. So Fraser has gone over there to hit the music. Lottie is behind me and is going to hand me some random objects. I'm going to freestyle rap with every object I touch. I asked these guys before the podcast to find 10 items in the Stand Comedy Club that I had hopefully never seen before, that people would be unlikely to hold up at some of my gigs. So we know this is properly improvised. This is completely off the top of my head. And I can already see Fraser laughing at an object behind me that I can't see. So this should be good. If we drop that beat, I'll rhyme with every object I touch. Let's fucking do this. Also, great for a podcast, by the way. For an audio medium, you probably want to switch to the video, I've just realized. A check 1 2. A microphone check 1 2. So people in the place, just let me rock this. I'm about to freestyle with all of these objects. I have not seen them, I spit it so hotly. So pass me the first object. Yes please, Lottie, what do we have? Yes, it's so sacred, I don't need a hammer to motherfucking nail this, cause it's MC Hammersmith. Yes, I do rock. Every time I do, these rappers they meet shock. Oh, by the way, Jesus, yes, so definitely, I didn't realize this mallet was so heavy. That's the way I do. Yes, I bring the hammer, and something like that, other rappers getting battered. Give that to me. Yes, we be jumping. Look at that shit. I light the room up like a pumpkin. Yeah, off top, these styles I am blasting. So sexy, ladies want to jack my lantern. That's the way I bust it. Yes, I display. What the fuck is that? I thought it was mayonnaise. Yes, it's Caesar dressing. Let me ingest. Shout out in the building to Pizza Express. God damn. Yes, I've got a call. Yes, I put that on my fucking dough balls. Look at that shit. Yes, I will murk this. It's Rent to Kill, Pest Prevention Service. Yeah, when you do pest prevention, it's tactical. You know, of course, you have to read the motherfucking manual. Look at that shit. Yes, it's like bands. Yes, you've got the stages to knock out the ants. That's so amazing. These styles I flex. Respect that if you're getting rid of all the insects, all these whack rappers, I go full throttle. I bring heat undercover like a hot water bottle. That is just what I'm saying. Microphones every day, I be decaying. I've got to ask, I'm the ill style inflector. That is an Andrew Johnson Pez dispenser. Look at that. You know that I'm resident. Andrew Johnson, the 22nd president. That is true. I bust with this stuff. I'm only joking, of course. I just fucking made that up. And when I'm on the track, I say this with glee. Look, it's a Polaroid picture of me. That is so sick. Yes, I'm in a rage. I took that last year when I was backstage. Put it on the wall. It's a roller coaster. Cause by the way, my fucking show poster isn't up yet. So I thought I would do it. When I'm on the track, you know I stay fluid. Now this is the name of a particular game, but I can't remember it. And that is insane. If I have to make it up, I think it sounds whack. What's the name of this? This isn't fucking Mousetrap.
Kerplunk.
Kaplunk. Yes, I'm a punk. I thought that had me sad and in a fucking funk. That's the way I do. Yes, it's a puzzle. I shagged your mum and like this, my balls, they all tumbled. Yeah, I'm the best when I rock that mic. See the way I do, and this is so tight. Oh, I fucking love that. These styles I'm destroying. You had pest control, and that's fucking rat poison. Look at that. Yes, I bring bars. You know you've got that in your motherfucking jar. Jesus Christ. Straight off the dome. What the fuck is this here on the microphone? Bloody love that. As I say it instead. Thank you, Lottie, for the papier-mâché head. That is so great. Yes, insane. Can I put this right now on the top of my brain and put the mic in there? Yes, at this gig. No, honestly, my head is far too fucking big. That's the way I do. I'm hard like enamel. I'm wearing the sombrero, so now I'm getting cancelled. Make some noise! Fuck me. This is not what I expected when I said they'd be on a podcast. Well,
that was unreal.
that was
Are you
surprising.
Some help.
Yeah, did it. Yeah, feel free. Thank you. Wow. Okay, I'll live with you. Wasn't expecting that. Good. Well, why'd you have that?
So this will come out after we've done this, so we'll be able to. Well, it just means we have to make sure that it does, but we should be able to announce this. So basically, as by this point when this comes out, everyone will know we are moving house.
Oh,
we are moving house, and part of the PR to kind of announce that
is that haunted boy.
Is the cowboy?
Oh, it's the cowboy.
It's
I
Dave.
did not realize that at all.
Dave's head has come to life. So
we had an opportunity to shout out the Stand Comedy Club, and we completely fucking missed it. That's on me.
The whole podcast is a Stand Comedy Club show. You're fine. But yeah, so what it was that. Chris Thorburn wore the cowboy head, came in dressed up as the cowboy,
right? Love
and
that.
there's now like a video of him emerging from the wall, and then he comes out and he like packs up a box, and in the box he puts in like something. He puts in like a leopard print pillow because that's a big thing in here. He puts in the monkey that we keep behind the bar. We keep this monkey,
outstanding,
and the monkey behind the bar is actually Johnny Vegas's monkey from the Tea advert. So it's like a bit of comedy.
Sick.
He puts that in there, and like he packs his gun away. We didn't have. We should have had a name tag for him. That'd have been funny. And then he decides to leave, and he turns around, and everyone in the audience, because he did it during a live Red Raw show.
Oh, right.
Everyone in the audience had a mask, and he turns around and there's just a sea of people wearing the cowboy's
well, I can't
face.
wait for this. This is going to be sick.
It was kind of scary, to be honest with you.
I was terrified when I looked round and saw that. Almost shat myself.
And then what happens is basically he then walks up the road to the new space, and the whole audience walk with him and follow him up the road to the new venue, all wearing cowboy faces.
And that was the end of a Red Raw.
Well, that we didn't know.
That
So
was
we
at the start.
spoiler. We did that at the very start of the show.
What a way
night.
to start a gig,
Yeah.
by the way.
But we didn't take them on the journey. We're actually doing that next week. But by the time you see this, it's already happened. But we're taking them to walk up the street all wearing cowboy masks. So
that's so funny.
Yeah. So that's what that is. So that was. I should really find out who the artist was that made that. But Kier, our marketing guy, got someone to make the paper mache head. It's very cool. It's very, very cool.
Well, what a way to end the podcast.
Thanks, guys. That was absolutely.
Almost shat myself there. What a way to end.
That was so good. Honestly. I'm so glad that we got you to do that.
Good
Thank
fun.
you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. That was great fun.
We actually usually end the podcast with a really random question.
That's true.
Do you want to try one?
Yeah. Fuck, marry, kill. Bourbon biscuits, hobnobs, and custard creams.
Well, none of these things have onion in them. I'll be the first to say.
That we know of.
That we know of. Bourbon biscuits, custard creams. What was the other one?
Hobnob.
Hobnobs.
With chocolate on.
Yeah,
Okay.
chocolate hobnob, okay.
I would marry the custard cream. I
I'll be
would
there for
fuck
you.
the hobnob because I mean you have to. It's in the name.
Yeah. You would hob the knob.
And then I'd kill myself. Fuck you! You didn't tell me what to do.
You can't kill
You don't tell me what.
yourself.
No, you didn't tell me what to do. Take that, liberals. I'm out of here.
Killing yourself is not an option. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming. Bye, everyone. Thanks, guys.